was saying. He was at Disneyland.
Oh, hey,
and here, yeah, we're up on YouTube now. Hi, hello, or we'll do our intros again. Hi, everyone. Hi, welcome to Rebels Revisited every Monday night here on the VCN. It's Mark and Ashley coming at you with Jeff working behind the scenes. We're now live on Facebook and YouTube. Yep, Jeff is back. He had a much deserved night off last week. I think for the most part, like all of last week was sort of May the 4th-ish celebration.
Oh,
yeah. Everybody checking their credit card statements and checking the recovery. Hi, Sarah. Hope you guys got some amazing loot this week.
Yeah, hope everyone did some good shopping.
Did you pick up anything awesome?
No, I put a lot of things into carts and didn't follow through on purchasing. But that's always how I am. And then I'll want it years from now or months from now. I did a little bit of like eBay searching. I also had a wedding this weekend, and I was very busy with my own sale. The Tenuo Novo sale went really well. And we're trying to plan like the next batch of stuff. Obviously, San Diego Comic-Con's the next big event. So I'm getting ready for that. But all of a sudden, it felt like May the 4th I felt like there was so much build up to it, and then it was like over like that. Like it felt
it's a wedding. That's exactly what a wedding is like.
Yeah,
years of build up and that.
Yeah. Thursday was really fun, though. That was fun to hang out with you and Kat. We've never had the three of us on screen together, just us. Like we've been part of the big group, but we never had like just the three of us hosting a show, and that was really fun getting to do the Siege of Mandalore. It was a good episode.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's a tough end to the series, and I don't know how anyone who could get as emotionally invested as Star Wars fans do and not cry during that last scene.
No, it's heartbreaking.
Absolutely hard.
An emotional gut punch for sure. An earned ending to a fabulous series. A great 4-part series of episodes on their own that work incredibly well as a standalone movie. I don't know, in my mind, and this is where I was having, it's a Mandela effect kind of thing. I really believe that I have watched these together, run together. And I don't know if I like found someone on YouTube that had it up for a minute before it was taken down, or it was aired on Disney Plus once as a run through, or I just let it play and didn't notice that the credits rolled. Like, am I crazy? Like, everyone in the comments, 1, am I crazy? Good question. 2, did anyone else think that they watched the Siege of Mandalore as one thing? Because I swear it happened. At least I've remembered it that way incorrectly for 3 years now.
Yeah, I think they did it an episode at a time, but they released the last 2 episodes together. So it went like the Siege of Mandalore, and then the it was like 2 and 2 weeks in a row.
Makes sense.
And it was chaotic. My emotions. I was just like,
I
just remember it being like 4 a.m. and just me sitting there like.
I woke up early, but I did not stay up late for it. I do think it was a really interesting choice for us to make that our May the 4th viewing, and it was actually Spencer's idea. All right, so Sarah says I'm crazy. So all right, one for crazy, which perfectly fine. Look, I think it's a logical answer to that question. I'm sure May the 4th, that's maybe not the number one thing people are thinking of, but with Ahsoka on the horizon, and this being a really huge part of Ahsoka's story, we felt this was a good thing to watch. Also, we are getting back to the mainline Star Wars movies this week on the watch along. So this Thursday, tune in for A New Hope. And then the following week is Empire Strikes Back. And then I know you and I are ready for this on the 25th, the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. How much fun is that going to be?
Oh my God, it's going to be a blast. Honestly, Return of the Jedi is probably the most accessible of the films when you're a little kid because of Ewoks and Chewie
that's what got me in.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for it, and I hope you join us in the chats and watch along with us.
Did either of you guys watch it in theaters this past week?
Yes.
2 weeks
ago? I couldn't make it.
Yeah, it was great to see it on the big screen again.
Oh my gosh. I had never seen it on the big screen before because I was born a month before it. So, but it was just a totally different experience just seeing the OT on the screen. I saw was it Empire Strikes Back on the big screen, so that was really cool. So it was nice to keep the tradition alive for another year.
Yeah, I should have done that, and I didn't. So that was dumb. I still haven't seen Guardians, but I'm going tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I heard it's
bring
great.
tissues.
Yeah,
Two
I heard
two
it's
end credit scenes, but it will emotionally wreck you. Like it took me
yeah.
days to process it
Oh
fully, and
boy.
I still want to go back and see it again now. Before I wasn't sure,
Mhm.
but yeah, like it's James Gunn's Marvel Swan song. If he's done with it, so be it. But it went out on the best way it could have gone out on. I think so.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
I was gonna grab that. Thank you.
Bringing you kitties?
So I was just missing my wedding ring is all. I took it
Oh,
off for
no.
what was it? I was washing a dish and I was like, where's my wedding ring? Because it's my go-to, like flip the ring. And I was like, oh, that's not good. I was like, Jason, come get this. So yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about Guardians. Another excellent like stick the landing situation. I love James Gunn. I think he's super
Yes.
weird, but also accessible. So I'm excited to see that on the big screen. We're going to do it in IMAX, which also we had to get like an
Yes.
IMAX showing.
Oh
so,
my goodness.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
ready.
that is the best way to see it. My cousin Eric and I did the marathon last Wednesday night, and
Mhm.
though it was really brutal
Mhm.
because it's 6 hours and 48 minutes, and they started it at 7:30 at night.
Yeah, I would
It
never.
was so we didn't get out of there until like 2:45, and by the time I got home, it was like 4 a.m. Like, oh, thank God I have tomorrow off. But
Yeah, I don't think I can
watching
handle
it,
that.
yeah, watching it in that chronological order, you see that James is correct when he says it's been Rocket's story all along.
Yeah,
There's a
look,
lot of little things.
I think and this is hard in an ensemble cast. I think every single character in the Guardians group really has full arcs
Yeah.
and are well developed. They're not one note characters. Even someone like a Nebula, which could come across as like, oh, she's like the mean one.
Yeah.
Layers and well written, and even outside of the actual core movies where they pop into like Infinity War and Endgame and Thor, wherever else, like they're used well. They bring something very different to the mix. It's not just
Yeah.
like a random white male superhero popping in. Like even Chris Pratt's version of Star-Lord is not that, right? He feels differentiated from the other superheroes in the lineup because they all start feeling a little cookie cutter after a minute, right? How many superhero shows and movies do we have? Power sets are easy to replicate. And yet the Guardians all feel highly differentiated, even though none of them are really superheroes. Like other than Drax, who has like superhuman strength, everyone's just like kind of a good fighter. Like that's kind of it. And yet they're awesome and really fun, and all the acting is great, and
genetically engineered.
Yeah, doesn't take themselves all that seriously,
right.
Which is what I really like. I think I keep coming back to this. Everything should be fun. I think we do a lot of like deep analysis here and take things very seriously, but ultimately like only if you enjoy it, right? Like it's got to be fun first. And that's what I want out of Star Wars, what I want of Marvel.
Yeah, there are some fun moments in this, but there are very serious, heavy moments in this.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we're talking about like genetics to perfect, the species, right? We're talking about eugenics, which is, that's heavy. Genocide is always like a popular topic in all of Marvel and Star Wars, right? The loss of, I'm sure some people will die, though I hear like the body count's not as bad as everyone was thinking going in. So spoiler free, I don't really know, but yeah, I'm excited to see it all come to a close, in a good way. Meanwhile, this is really random, but one of my fraternity brothers is a musical theater major, and he's 3 years younger than I am. He was at the wedding I went to on Saturday. He lives on the West Coast. He's been working at Disney on and off, and he was on furlough during, when the parks were closed and everything. Found out just 6 months ago he got brought back. He had been on the cruises at some point. He's done a whole bunch of everything, right?
Yeah.
He's playing Star-Lord at Avengers Campus. Like I couldn't believe it.
That's him. Oh my gosh.
I know. So
they've
by
had
the way,
him and Mantis. Like
he was he was just saying, he's
I
like,
would
Mantis
bring out
just got
that.
introduced. And I was like, yeah, I heard on Friday. He's like, yeah, and this was Saturday. So there's apparently more than one Star-Lord, but he's the
they
singing
rotate.
Star-Lord. So
That's really
yeah.
cool. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. The
I know,
girl
how
they
fun
have
is that?
playing Mantis looks like she's having so much fun with it. So
It looks
um,
really, really fun.
yeah.
Which that's what I like. Avengers Campus is what Star Wars needs to be. It
Mhm.
needs to be like that. I still don't understand why Batu is the same West Coast and East Coast. That never made sense to me. It should have been
And it's
like Coruscant and Tatooine. Like that, there you go.
but also not stuck in a finite point in time.
Yeah.
That's one
Right.
thing I really bugs me, is that it's between like episodes 7 and 8 or 8 and 9. I can't remember
Yeah.
ever, because I really don't
Yeah, I think
care.
8 and 9.
But it's like a specific point in time where they try to like, but they've bent that rule slightly with the introduction of Mando and Boba and Fennec, and
Yeah.
so that it helps a little bit. But they should be able to go, okay, we're gonna rotate out Kylo and the First Order troopers, and all of a sudden Vader and some OG stormtroopers are going to be wandering through. They
Mhm.
won't ever
Change the
interact,
banners. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they can be there, and they can be in the space that should have technically existed in their time frame as well. And they should be able to do things like that where they rotate through
I agree.
different characters from different movie times. They should have some Maul with some somebody that he would wander through with. I don't know,
Oh yeah.
Ezra.
anything like that.
Maul and Ezra, that'd be great. I do think they're moving toward that because there's all this like sort of retconning of Galaxy's Edge where it's like Batu's been around forever and all your favorite heroes have visited there. I was like, they're planting those seeds because here's one thing: Disney knows market research. When they hear something over and over and over again, they actually take action on it. Like they actually just announced today,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
reservations are done. And
As in January. Yep.
East Coast.
And you're at Disney World. And dining plans are coming back, which I know were very popular. I never did a dining plan.
I did. It was amazing.
Yeah, I heard it's a great value.
Like being on a cruise ship, probably, isn't it?
Kind
You have a
of.
little bit more eating flexibility or whatever.
Yeah. So if you're smart, and I'm when it comes to Disney trips, I'm the queen of the spreadsheets. Like Mark is the king of the Google Docs on here. I am the Disney queen of the spreadsheets, and I will allot, dining reservations to whether it's, table service or like full meal service, or if it's snack and how many snacks we have left over, and just like divvying it up. And that's what I did in 2015 when I went on like my first trip since 2001. And like I had it planned down, but it was like loose enough where if we needed wiggle room, we had it.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated the dining plan for that. So we'd go to like Narcoossee's, and that would be like our table service. And then we'd go to Pizza Planet when it was open, and we'd have quick service and, just those kind of options.
Spread it out. Yeah.
I will be using all my quick service
it.
credits at Ronto Roasters. I'm just saying.
I didn't love Ronto Roasters.
Oh, it's my favorite.
It's okay.
Yeah, there was.
I was gonna
I
say
will
there
hype
was,
those Ronto wraps till I die.
I missed them, but there was a handful of Rebels related photo ops on May the 4th, or for the Star Wars night event, I should say.
So
I was there
cool.
on the second.
What characters were there?
I saw Rex, full armor Rex, leaving
Oh.
when I was leaving the park, which caught my attention that the seventh sister was standing over there.
Yeah.
Taking photos. So I ended up getting a photo with her and my buddy who is Jedi Santa, and he was happy to cosplay in the park in full cosplay for the most part, and not
He was in line.
Anyways,
I'll get to that later.
what I didn't realize was that Ezra and I think it was Sabine were also a photo op that I totally missed.
Wow.
They're
They
one
never
of the
have
most
them.
popular. They were there at Star Wars night when we went to Celebration last year, and their line was 3 hours long. And
To meet some lookalike in costume. It's amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
Like,
imagine if they actually brought Taylor and Tia. People would lose their minds.
I'd be first in that lose your mind line.
I'm enjoying the Rebels love that's happening. We should remind everyone too. Our interview with Taylor Gray happened several weeks ago. That interview is up if for some reason you have not watched it.
Yes.
And you can meet him in person in Nashville in a few weeks at ICCC. And we know several people from the VCN are going down there, including Dave, and I think Skip. And several of them are going to be doing a meetup of some sort. So be on the lookout in the Facebook group for details about ICCC. I can't believe I'm not going. It's the kind of thing where, like, believe me, I'm still trying to figure out how to make like a quick trip out of this, because it is Freddie, Vanessa, Tia, Taylor, Steve, and Mary Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. It's the whole Ghost
That's
crew
huge.
plus
Yeah.
Governor Price. And of course, Mary does a ton of other things too. But like, that's incredible. Yeah, and we have another guest to announce at the end of the show. We'll keep you guys waiting. But next week is going to be an interview episode, which we're very excited about. So we'll come back to that. But this week, we've got a watch along, which we haven't done in a little while because we've had so much to talk about. Which, by the way, we love that you guys are coming to join us to talk about like Celebration and May the 4th and all these other things going on. Obviously, if you have questions about anything, just throw them into the chat. I actually really want to know what you guys bought. Did anyone buy any good?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask. We want to know.
I got nothing good.
I went through Rebel Art Designs on Instagram, and I bought some Murder Droid keychains.
Oh boy.
Gotta get my boy little.
Oh, that's so cute.
So he still has them available in his shop, but so he has that one, and I got an Ahsoka one that says "I am no Jedi." Oh, he included a little chubby walker.
Cute.
Pretty cute. And yeah, there's the Ahsoka. It's a double-sided Ahsoka, so you have the light side and dark side.
Nice.
Really
I love
cool.
that.
I had to get those.
Yeah, everyone tell us in the comments how you spent all your money last week.
Yeah. Let me know if you got Cal Kestis's limited edition lightsaber, because that thing.
Did it sell out?
It's still available in I think I want to say Disneyland still has some.
Okay.
I know there's only
75
line when I was there. It was pretty intense. Even outside of Star Wars Night, the line was like one of the longer ones I've seen.
And it's $400 because it's the double saber. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
so
quite the impressive piece.
You can connect it with the OG one.
Plastic or wood. It's cardboard, but it's still kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
It's nice looking. I have not played Jedi Survivor, but I did start watching a cutscene video, which maybe I shouldn't say out loud because, like, you know, here's the thing: support game developers and pay for the game. I'm going to buy the game, even though I'm probably not going to play it, and I'll probably give it to someone. But I do want to watch the content, and I'll feel less guilty about that by either watching a cut through or watching people play. Like, actually, funny enough, Alex Damon, who I reference all the time, you would think we're actually friends. I only know him like a little bit. He's great. Star Wars Explained. That's his channel. He's a big gamer, and he loved Jedi Fallen Order, and now he's playing Jedi Survivor like it's his job, because it kind of is his job. So he's been playing for hours and hours and hours, and there are all these walkthroughs of him playing, and I think he's beat it already. It's been out for over a week, so I can't imagine he hasn't already enjoyed the game. But I
know a few people who have beat it in that time. It's crazy.
I think I want to say the cutscenes alone were like 4 hours. So never mind like the amount of gameplay you would need to like then activate all of that. Although the opening itself was like 5 straight minutes of just like video, introducing the story. But the game looks amazing. I haven't seen any major Rebels connectivity, like nothing really jumped out as being like Hera doesn't pop in, right? Like we don't meet Chopper, but it's set in that same time period where we're right on the cusp of like leading up to A New Hope. They go to Coruscant. We engage with like some Inquisitors. It is of the time period, but there isn't like a direct like, oh hey guys, like Ahsoka pops in, which would not be unheard of, right? Like she's the fulcrum at the time, so.
But I think they also want it to stand alone, like just kind of be its own thing, which I really applaud and appreciate, because everything should have its own niche.
Things, though. I was like, we love you. Get in here.
Yeah. Oh my God. Cameron Monaghan is amazing, and it would be so cool. Yeah. So.
There's a chance he could be in Andor. There's. Chance he could be in the Ahsoka show. I also don't think everything looks like she might have frozen.
There we go.
You're a little laggy.
There we go. Is that me or you? Oh, is it me? Okay. I thought we lost Ashley for a second.
No?
It turns out I'm the problem. It's me. So I think that all Star Wars things should stand alone. We like when they connect, but they shouldn't have to. And I think our big concern is that when everything interconnects too much, you get left with like required viewing, right? And if you don't watch the thing, you aren't ready for the next thing. And it's the whole build up to Ahsoka, right? It's like, well, I hope you've watched all of Clone Wars and all of Rebels and those Mando episodes. Like you're kind of going in and, Ahsoka's already being talked about as Rebels season 5 and like a continuation of something. Is that a great entryway show as opposed to Mando season 1, where there was no barrier to entry? It was like, it's a brand new show. If you've never seen a Star Wars, jump right in. Like, you don't know who these people are, and we're going to find out what happens. And the Easter eggs were so minimal in Mando season 1, and then it exploded in Mando season 2. Like, they're two completely different shows.
Yeah. And for season 3, forget it. Like, if you haven't watched anything,
it was Book of Bo-Katan. Yeah, Book of Bo-Katan. Which, by the way, we're going to obviously have a whole episode about Bo-Katan in the upcoming Women of Star Wars show, which, by the way, is still not named. So everyone in the comments, if you'd like to offer us a name, to name Ashley and Jamie's new upcoming show that's coming in June.
Please.
Yeah, it's only a few weeks away. We need to create a graphic, and in order to create a graphic, we need a name. And so we are diligently working on something. And right now, it's just the Untitled Women of Star Wars show featuring Ashley and Jamie. So it's going great over here. But we're definitely going to be doing a Bo-Katan specific episode. She's across the three of us, we were coming up with favorite characters that we have in common, and like she obviously made the top 5. So
you can't. There's no way. Like Bo-Katan is both a badass and a leader, and just love her.
Fantastic. We won't see her in tonight's episode, but I do think we're going to see some other like badass women in this episode as well. We get to see quite a bit of Hera, and we get to meet a new lady, Ms. Goody Therese. Named after Andy Gutierrez.
Yes, you can see her right there.
Oh my God, if I could point, the Mohawk with her purple hair. She's part of Iron Squadron along with Mart Matten, which named after Matt Martin. So awesome guy, love him. I got to see him very briefly at Star Wars Celebration this year.
I always say hi to him on the fly when I walk and run by. I'm like, hey.
Everyone knows him. It's amazing. Like, how some people in the fandom are like truly famous. Like he is famous in the fandom the same way that like Andy is. Andy wasn't there in Britain. Anthony was, and he was hosting, as we saw. But
Andy had a baby.
And so she is home in America, and so Andy was the communications manager at Lucasfilm when Rebels was airing, and she was hosting Rebels Recon. So it made perfect sense that they would name a character after her. So we're going to get to meet Goody in just a minute, because we are going to start the episode in just a minute. We're going to try to actually end at 10 o'clock. We'll see how well that goes. But the episode is like 22 minutes, so we'll give it a minute to start. Before going in though, it's funny, we're in the middle of this kind of like season 3 watch along, and then next week we've got our interview, and then we're going to do a couple more watch alongs unless other interviews land, because we've got a few things in the hopper. And then come June, it's the countdown to Ahsoka, or the ascent to Ahsoka, or whatever we're calling it. So it's going to get wild over here. We're going to go back to season 2 and do a whole bunch of crazy stuff.
Oh yeah, we have a list set up for you guys, and honestly, we'll do the best we can to get you excited and included. And I'm looking at the chat for Sarah, and she says, "Okay, y'all got your work cut out for you, because this is our least favorite Rebels episode ever. Help us not hate it." So if you don't have a favorite episode, we're here to guide you through it.
Yeah, I also think when it comes to like Star Wars, someone was talking about the 9 movies, right, back when they were still 9 or 10. And it was like, you must have a number 1, and you probably also have a number 10. The question becomes like, how do you feel about that number 10? Is it a B+, a B-, a C+, an F? Like, is this episode an F? No, it is a mid episode though. Like you can see it in the IMDb rating. It's like a 6.4 or 6.5, right? Which isn't great. but I don't think it's like it's not one that I hate. It's not even one that I dislike. What I think works about the episode, in hindsight, as we go back and revisit it, as it were, is that we now know where Mart Matten ends up and why he's important. It's kind of like the Purgles the first time, right? Like you watch the episode and you're like, what the hell is this? And you're like,
It's
oh, that was
wild.
weird. You know, we get to see Ezra connect with an animal. And I was like, oh, well, we've done that. And how often are we going to do that? And why is it a standalone? And then they come back and it's like, oh man, now we're all obsessed with Purgles. I don't think you're going to become obsessed with Mart Matten. But I think the thing that I like about this episode is that it introduces a wild card group of children who are in over their heads, feeling very Ezra right off the bat, who have the right idea, but are too overconfident and haven't really been humbled quite yet. And luckily they get rescued before they get killed, because you weren't going to get humbled, you were going to get killed. But then they end up being really important down the line. Like Mart Matten's character appears in the entire back half of season 4 once everyone gets back to Lethal. He's in as many episodes as the fifth brother, the seventh sister, Fenn Rau, and Darth Maul, which is crazy to think. Like, so he starts here and then he ends up being part of like that ragtag crew of people that Ezra pulls into the rebellion at the end of the series to help liberate his home world. And that's something that I was like, love that. Love that for this group. Because I got to say, going into, I didn't love this episode when it first aired. You know?
Yeah, it
okay.
comes off as a filler episode, which is fine, but in the Filoniverse, filler episodes are not just filler episodes. Like they're fun little segues into something greater. And I feel like this is that episode, and you see Mart's importance in the greater scheme of things and episodes to come.
And its connectivity to Sato. There's another small thing toward the end where Thrawn finally appears. There's sort of a payoff to like, that's not a Star Destroyer. And then finally the Star Destroyer shows up, and Sabine even said, she's like, that's a Star Destroyer. And what's funny is I said it too. I was like, that's a Star Destroyer, right as it popped out. And then Kia says it. I was like a second ahead of the dialogue on screen. I was like, oh no, I've watched this show too much. And it's that kind of thing where what does it take for Thrawn to get Commander Sato involved? So Thrawn was baiting Sato this whole time, which is why he also sends that idiot Constantine. We get little glimpses too into the character of Constantine and how useless and stupid he is.
Oh yeah.
And how he's getting set up, which I kind of love. All that being said, though, I think I'm probably extrapolating the good parts. The execution on this episode does leave a little to be desired. I do enjoy, though, the trash thing, that because they use that trick in Andor. It's the same idea. And in Andor, it's handled really well. And here it seems a little silly, but it's effective. It's effective the first time. So.
I'm just saying, where did they get it from? Rebels.
Yeah, everything's stolen from Rebels.
Which is also probably stolen from Star Wars with the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that too.
Yeah.
All right, let's start the episode. So for everyone who's ready to join us on what I would say is like an average episode of Star Wars Rebels, maybe below average, still, we're going to have fun with it. And we're going to meet some really interesting characters in this one. We are in season 3, episode 8, Iron Squadron. So pull up your Disney Plus machine, and Ashley, you could give us the countdown.
All right, kids, we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Whenever it wants to stop spinning. Come on.
Yeah, I was doing that before the show started because I keep running into like the spin loop because I've been watching them. And so it then thinks that like I'm at the end of the episode. Yeah.
So we have Ezra with his new look.
And Blind Kanan. This is how you know where you are. Season 3 has Blind Kanan. Ezra's got his short hair.
Hair's got new goggles.
Yep. They updated the character models. Of course, Sabine's hair is always a good giveaway as to what time period we're in.
That's my favorite Sabine look so far.
Season 3 is a good one. And the Sabine season 2 helmet is shipping finally. The season 4 helmet is coming out soon. I can't wait to finally get to like a live action Sabine helmet. I think that'll be really fun.
Oh yeah. I swear to God, I'm gonna wear that helmet every day. Just start our show. Ashley's wearing her helmet again.
That'll get you the tips.
I'm sure my boss will love it.
They'll have to cut your hours way back because of that.
Well,
Like,
wearing
ma'am,
the
we can't hear
shirt is
you.
already doing that. So so
I do
many
love the
people were
mural
pointing that
shirt.
out.
You
So
have the
many-
original mural shirt.
yeah, this
Yeah.
is everybody. So
See, I'm missing that one, but I have the black one that I wore last week.
that was so cool. Now, I have a problem when they release all that merchandise on site. I'm not gonna be able to get it because doesn't it go through badge owners first before it's open to the public?
Oh, well, I could then try to get it for you like that.
Oh, cool.
Although I guess I have a work badge, but that should be fine. As a vendor, I gotta see. I
Yeah.
forget how these things work. It's all so
I think as
clunky.
long as your badge is activated, you're good.
Yeah, I have to find mine now.
So
I threw it. I'm sure I threw it in a box. Oh, here we go. This is the assault with the garbage. I love this. So they just threw random cargo at the other ship, which is super smart. And I love, by the way, I love the execution in Andor.
Yeah.
This clearly where it got inspired from.
Luthen had all the tricks in Andor.
Yeah. Yeah, he had weaponized kyber. I mean, those lasers were kyber crystal lasers, like a
Oh, yeah.
lightsaber.
Like,
Mhm.
no denying that.
I like that. Before we know, like Iron Squadron, you would think it's a group of adults, right? Like you had no idea we are going to be meeting these children, and it's kind of wild because it's they all seem way too grown up for their age, which is a constant thing in Star Wars. They're forced to grow up too soon, and it's the thing that was brought up in the Bad Batch about how Omega doesn't have a childhood.
Sounds like a ship full of Ezras. Zeb nails it.
Yep. Yeah, so we have to suspect that, well, we know that Mark Matton's family was killed, but Commander Sato thinks that his nephew, Mark Matton, is also dead.
But he's finding out he's alive. Keone Young back in the show.
Yeah, love him. And there's Goody. So the voice actress who plays her, where is it? Meredith. It's Meredith something. Meredith Ann Bull. And then Eric Lopez plays John or Jin. And Eric Lopez is Jaime Reyes, aka the Blue Beetle, in Young Justice, which is the same show that Vanessa Marshall is a voice on. She plays Black Canary. So I was thinking they
wow.
probably knew each other. Which is it's all interconnected there. Zachary Gordon plays Mark Matton, and he was best known for like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And Meredith Ann Bull just had like a ton of voice acting credits. So, and all these three, like other than Zach, who came back for a couple episodes, Eric and Meredith were one-off voice actors. They had a few of those in Star Wars Rebels that they popped in for one episode to play a random character.
Droid fight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they're all episode Chopper's bickering with this guy.
It's like when you have one cat and it sees another cat and it just
Yeah.
Chopper cat.
They carry that through, like in the final scene of the episode. They're still like slapping like this. It's very that.
She looks just
Lila,
enough like Andy, and he looks just enough like Matt.
Yeah, there's definitely some truth in the character model there. Lila is saying that watching Young Jedi with her grandbaby, and you get the sense that the Padawans are left to go on adventures a lot without supervision. That's definitely true in Star Wars. I mean, Ahsoka was very young when she was basically drafted as a soldier into the Clone Wars, and we see the Padawans all the time, constantly being tasked with doing things that I think are like barely appropriate for adults.
Space waffles.
I like to see this is his first instance where he doesn't know that it wasn't a Star Destroyer.
kid.
His heart's in the right place, right?
It is,
Defend your
yeah.
homeworld. But like the three of them and their one little ship, when most of the planet wants to evacuate, like they're there to help people leave because they understand the scope and scale of the empire. They're very idealistic, which I appreciate and understand. It's just there's no adult to actually swoop in and tell them otherwise. Like they don't have parents to tell them no.
It's Thrawn and Constantine.
Yeah. His undoing comes from the stupidest of places, right? It's like the Purgles, Constantine, the Bendu, things you couldn't have planned for, you know? Although he knew Constantine was an idiot. We're going to see him play him like a
Be an
fiddle this
idiot.
episode. Yeah. By the way, Constantine is played by D. Bradley Baker, who of course he is the Bad Batch. He is
All the
Captain
clones.
Rex. He is every clone. He does a million voices, and I don't know how he ended up like landing this like minor gig because Constantine's in like a good number of episodes. Like you can imagine that would have been a role that they would have gone out and been like, let's get another like actual actor onto the call sheet for something like that. But maybe they brought in D and were like, we're not using a lot of Rex. There aren't other clones popping in. He's so good. You would never know it was him unless you like looked at the IMDb.
Or you had enough
remember,
of a trained ear to hear it.
I can't hear it. I definitely didn't. He doesn't sound anything like he does in real life or any of his other major voices.
Yeah.
and now, by the way, we're switching over to Rex. So the range of this man, it's amazing.
You can tell Constantine's going to be more of a main character than the other Imperials because they all have their hats down over their eyes.
Yeah, can't really see him. It's an interesting group because it's Thrawn, Price, Constantine, Admiral Yularen pops in, or Colonel Yularen, right? He's not an admiral yet. He's still in the Colonel. Yeah. He doesn't become an admiral until we get to like a New Hope time period, which I like that retcon. That's one of those where I'm okay with. Like the guy who's playing the one in the white uniform in A New Hope, the way they then created that character all the way back to Clone Wars, dragged it in through Rebels. Like they handled that really well. And not all of them work. Like not every retcon works, but like that one really does.
I love the Phantom. It's Chopper with the hammer.
They're so stubborn. And I get it. They're young, they're young and idealistic. So Sarah knew Constantine was being played by D. Bradley Baker. It's not idealistic. It's obnoxious. That's fair. That's the thing. I don't have kids, so I just see them. I was like, oh, youth. To care that much and to think you're going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not listening to any of the adults, but also Ezra's their age, and they don't know Hera. Like, it's not like Commander Sato is there. It'd be different, right, if he was there.
Yeah. And I really think having Ezra be the same age and just kind of like telling them like, look, this is serious. We need you.
Yeah. Sabina's there. She's the same age too. Like they should hopefully listen to them. Sherry, I have not seen that panel. And in fact, one of the things that I need to do is go back and watch all the celebration panels. I would love to do those as watch alongs on the Thursday. But now that, again, once we clear May, which reminder, this Thursday is A New Hope, then Empire Strikes Back the following week, and then Return of the Jedi for the 40th anniversary on that Thursday, the 25th, which is awesome. Then we're into June, and it'll be the countdown to Ahsoka. So I think we have to figure out a place maybe we can watch some panels on Tuesdays, like during happy hour. Like that could be fun.
Yeah.
The Bad Batch watch along was a miserable failure, but it's not without trying. So
yeah.
But
it
would have been it's all. It
would have been fine on Thursdays if there wasn't a competing show.
Exactly.
That's the thing. You can't have two shows on at once. It actually, I think it fully ruined the Bad Batch. It lost all its momentum because it was having a great season, and then it was fully overshadowed by Mando. You can't. There's only so much content we create. Even all the YouTubers who were like thoroughly covering Bad Batch had to then shift to Mando, and then oh yeah, also Bad Batch was on. Like. That's terrible. I'm so mad. I was like, you have 52 weeks of the year and you have 14 weeks of programming. How are they overlapping? It makes no sense.
Right.
And I scream into the void. Yeah.
And I know he doesn't want to leave his ship. And this is a Corellian YT freighter again. Looks
Yeah.
familiar from the inside here.
I mean, he's a mini
Oh.
Han. Like, who are we kidding?
Yeah.
This is what actually Han Solo would be. No, he'd be older. He'd be like 10 years older than this at this time period ish. But yeah, he's basically a young Han. And he's delusional too, like thinking his little garbage trick is going to work twice, right? And again, not a Star Destroyer. That's a light cruiser or whatever size that is. Or freighter. It was a freighter or a cruiser. I lose track. But they keep bringing up the various stages of ships. And obviously, like, we have not seen a Star Destroyer yet.
And they're
It's
just
not gonna work
flying
again.
right through the Phantom.
Yeah, there's your realization.
No, you didn't, kid.
Oof. It is a nice ship.
Yeah. It's very similar to the Falcon.
Yeah, you have to wonder at some point, like, did they build a Falcon in the Rebels model and then couldn't get the larger story team's permission to use Han? Probably because they knew Solo a Star Wars story was coming, right? And you have to
Right.
figure out how to sync that up. Because I do think Rebels was pulling out all the stops, right? They added Thrawn, they added Maul, they added Ahsoka, they put in Darth Vader. They were like,
Yeah.
what do we have to do to keep people interested in this show? Adding in Han Solo would have been great. They already put in Princess Leia. Like, we see Luke for a second, even though we
Lando.
really don't, right? Obi-Wan gets an episode. Lando's all over there. We didn't meet Chewie, but we could have met Chewie and Han. And I bet you they started there and then they had to retcon it and turned it into this because he feels so young,
Yeah.
Lando. Yeah. It is weird too that like
Right
we
down to
see
the
a
hair.
lot of Lando and there's no Han, you know. They're so intrinsically tied.
Uh-oh.
See, they're setting a good trap. Jamie, you're right. Mart is the saddest downgrade from Han we could possibly get. That is
No
pitiful.
offense to Matt, but yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Hate to admit it, but I need your help.
Way to go, kid.
Yeah, all the family has left. I feel like that line has been said in Star Wars by like 25 different characters because it's
Everybody's
always
an
like,
orphan.
I know the war is warring. Let me tell you, like, there's so many broken families in Star Wars and a lot of found.
Right.
Oh, there was a thing on Instagram today about found families in Star Wars, and the cover photo was the ghost. And then it showed a bunch of other examples as well, and it really looked
cool.
like friend groups more than anything. But like the ghost one really felt the most like a family.
Agreed.
Yeah, they're certainly my favorite found family of the crew.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stop the Jamie's comment. So mean. I would have loved to have seen Han and Rebels. What would that have been like? Now I want to like wax poetic.
It would have been like
that.
this. Just like
no,
this.
I don't know. I think he would have been really helpful, but that also then is a retcon because he doesn't really get involved in the Rebel Alliance other than that one mission in Solo Star Wars Story where he like drops off the package to Enfys Nest and he's like, good luck, guys. And it's like back to smuggling. Like it would have been cool if they sort of cross paths smuggling. Like when we meet Lando, he's getting the puffer pig, which is going to help with the mining operation. It felt like just prequely enough, but also there's a thread that ties him back to Bespin and Empire Strikes Back. Like, I don't know where you would have found Han. There's also kind of like too many stories with Han already where I keep coming back to what I call the crowded calendar. Like there's no way any one person is busy every single day of the year. And yet the time period from A New Hope to Return of the Jedi, like these people are triple booked. Like there's a war and an event at all times, morning, noon, or night. Like we're
Yeah.
literally out of time for these characters. Oh wow, Sarah's coming in hot. But yeah, Han had the skill to back up his attitude, whereas Mart does not. And I'm paraphrasing. But yes, agreed. Han was like he was really cocky, but he got it done. And oh my god, Chopper.
Like a
he's such
Mando
jerk.
drop.
Yep. I do enjoy the droids flying in space. That's always cute.
I mean, at least Chopper was like, I'm gonna follow you. He wasn't just like, haha, peace, you know?
How do they never monitor for droids?
It's all about life forms. They don't care about
Yeah.
droids.
I saw. I'm sure you guys saw that one clip on YouTube or Twitter or Instagram ages ago, where it was like, what if that one thing changed and they blew up the little capsule of like R2 and C-3PO like headed down to Tatooine, and then the black screen pops up. It's like directed by George Lucas. Like the whole trilogy's over at that point, right?
All them.
Like there you go, right in the opening 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Oh, I like that, Jamie. Mart, I didn't even think of that. Mart is a foil to Ezra to show how much Ezra's grown. You're right. This is Ezra's
Very
behavior
smart.
from season 1. Yeah. That sort of not listening to reason and thinking he knows best and rash decision making.
What are you doing? She's in my laundry basket.
Mhm.
It's empty, but she's just staring at me through the holes.
Mhm.
Also, big shout out to Vanessa and Hera as Hera's piloting skills throughout all of this.
Seriously. Come on, Lego, release the Go set already. I need one. Like,
Yeah.
whoa.
I would just like more Rebels merch in general. Like they never
Yes.
completed the Disney Infinity, as you know. There isn't really like a good comprehensive action figure collection of all of them. Like not everyone has a Black Series. But now we're headed into live action territory. I feel like the
Hot
next wave of
Toys.
Funkos are going to be, and Hot Toys will probably be live action oriented for
Yeah.
these characters. I'd rather the Rebels look for,
Yeah.
because that's the show I care about most. I don't think there's a Commander Sato anywhere.
No.
So we're missing that. We're missing a few. There is a Fen Rao, weirdly enough, action
Yes,
figure.
I have that one.
I completely forgot about that because I was searching for something else and that popped up in the eBay listings. And I was like,
Yeah.
Fen Rao. I think it was during the
Yeah.
Rogue One time period. It looked like
Yep.
based on the
It was.
package design. Yeah, I remember all the different style guides that came out every year. There's a
He
new
looks so
one.
good, though.
He really does. The Fen Rao action figure was spectacular looking.
He's got his flight smock on his head, and it's all good.
I like this trick with the bomb and everything.
Like, I'm gonna go haul you out of here, kid.
And there you go. Oof.
Boom.
Ezra wasn't as annoying, according to Sarah. I agree with that. They really did over exaggerate how annoying this kid is. Yeah, and certainly, like if they started with Han, they would have had to have rewritten this tremendously to make it work. I'm thinking they were building the ship, and they were like, "Oh, we need a ship for this guy. Give him the Falcon we didn't use."
Or an original, like, Cantwell Falcon design.
And here's Thrawn. Thrawn's always playing the longest game. He has more patience than most Jedi, Oh God, look at that. That's a bad day at work, right?
Right.
Like you come back and
Oh boy.
rebels and their sympathizers escaped. Girl, you are fired. I do enjoy that we get resolution to Constantine and Sato in the season. This doesn't just drag.
Yes, I know.
This is sweet.
He's not amused when he's happy his nephew is alive.
Yep. This ragtag group.
Yes, I'm petting you.
And no one important died. Oh, keep an eye on Chopper.
Always keep an eye on Chopper.
That's so stupid. Well, there we go. That was Iron Squadron. Look, not the best episode of the series. But I still think, like all Rebels things, there are good moments, interesting things to like on a second watch, on a rewatch now, and having seen the whole series, to look back on and be like, oh, this was interesting for this reason. Trust me when I say I had to rewatch this episode over the weekend because I remember not loving it the first go around. So as I've done my many rewatches of the series, this has been low on my list of rewatching. So I had to rewatch it to remind myself about all the details that happened. The things I love. Matt Martin and Andy Gutierrez getting sort of canonized in Star Wars in universe. They're two of the most important, like I would say, Rebels adjacent Lucasfilm like employee creators, right? Like up there with like Pablo and other members of the story group. Andy obviously hosted Rebels Recon, and I turned into Recon every week. Like I was obsessed with Recon as much as I was Rebels itself. So that is super cool. Secondly, like Mark Matten, the character itself, annoying, young, brash, connected to Sato. And ends up being really useful in the second half of season 4 when Ezra needs to form the randos who are going to take back Lothal.
I remember like watching this and thinking that Mart was Fulcrum. Because it was like just enough of a red herring to be like, okay, this kid is completely like not capable of anything like that, just to kind of throw everybody off the scent. And then it turns out he's Fulcrum. So that was the idea I was tossing around during the first airing of this, like the first time I was watching this every week. And then when it turned out to not be true, I was like, oh, okay, so he's just a stupid kid. It's all good.
Yeah, he's just a pain in the ass.
I was almost relieved. I'm like, okay. But then he, in season 4, it ends up becoming something more. And I'm glad he gets it together by then.
And we get just a little bit of Thrawn. They sprinkle Thrawn in a way that doesn't cheapen his character. I think a lot of people who love the EU were particularly worried that Thrawn, like the big granddaddy, like major villain of the novels that kept this brand afloat when there weren't movies, right? Like super important character. They were like, oh, we're making him a season-long villain in the cartoon created for kids by Disney. Like you can imagine why that was not working for a lot of people just, hearing that on paper. But the way they use Thrawn in Rebels, I think, is mostly really, really strong. And this is a great example of that. Yeah. He pops in for like a minute. He assigns Constantine at the start of the episode the task at hand, knowing that Constantine was going to mess it up. Constantine messes it up, and he pops in at the end. But also, like Thrawn got what he wanted. He just wanted to stare Sato down in the face and be like, "Oh, now I got you, gal." Like it was very that. Like it was more of a long-term threat. He there was no need to actually win anything for the day. And as Thrawn, as he's always doing, and we see it play out throughout season 3. The longest of games is what he's playing. And he finds them on Chopper Base. Like he finds these guys, despite the fact that the universe is vast and there are hundreds, if not thousands, of inhabitable planets. Thrawn finds them in the course of a season. And it's not bad writing where he just like comes to like some stupid conclusion. It's very methodical. And they treat him with a lot of dignity and respect as the main villain of the series and we'll say a legacy Star Wars villain. Right.
Right. And I think going forward, even in Ahsoka, we'll continue to see that respect being played towards not only Thrawn, but Timothy Zahn and his creations, and having him as a consultant on it is really amazing. So
I'm curious to see what his exact title is going to be, because I think it's going to be like executive producer. Like I think it's going to be. I think so too. It's going to be something big because obviously he's getting a lot. Like they didn't say his name once, being like, "Oh yeah," and we talked to Tim. It was like Timothy Zahn is super involved. Like it was significant enough that like Timothy Zahn was on board, as opposed to they wrote him a check being like, hey, you're going to get a vanity
we
credit.
Let you use a character. Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Sarah's right. Thrawn is terrifying in Rebels. So, and we've watched a few season 3, and we watched some season 4 as we were getting ready for Andor.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a few episodes. We haven't even seen his worst yet. Like, I think the finale of season 3, 0 Hour, is Thrawn at some of his worst. And obviously the series finale is his most desperate moments, which desperation always brings out the worst in people as well.
And you
So,
don't always get to see Thrawn lose his cool like he does in that
mhm,
episode. So that's
yeah,
completely flips what we know about the character on his head.
yeah. But I'm excited to see what they do with him in the Ahsoka show.
I
But yeah,
know.
we
Coming.
should make our announcement, and I think you should do it about what's happening next week.
Oh, okay. Gotta look it up here, make sure I have the proper. Oh my goodness, wait a minute. Sorry, you guys.
Yeah, Monday's going to be a fantastic show.
Monday is going to be amazing. So make sure you tune in with us and watch. Yeah, we are going to have, I hope you all can make it. We will be joined by the absolute queen and Spectre 2 herself, Vanessa Marshall. So get excited. Join us. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat. We'll make sure we ask her. We will have Jamie joining us because as also a huge Hera fan, it's only fair.
Jamie's part of our Rebels Revisited extended family.
Right.
The go-to fill-in co-host. And of course, the co-host with Ashley of the upcoming Women of Star Wars show has yet to be titled. We need a title, you guys.
Yeah,
I thought I assigned everyone homework. What did everyone do all week?
Yes, Vanessa,
so,
Sarah. Sarah's like, shut your face. Yes.
Yeah. Yes,
she's going
truly,
to be
Vanessa. By the way, Vanessa is delightful. I've known her for a few years because of my working with her at Tops, and she's as cool as you would hope her to be. You know how you meet someone and you're like, that woman seems really cool. It turns out she is. I can confirm she's super nice. We were texting about a week ago, dealing with like the logistics and times, and she's actually wanted to come on a little bit sooner. And she's got lots of projects, you guys. She was texting me about some of the stuff that's coming up that we're going to talk about during
so
her
much
episode.
Amazing things.
Yeah,
can't wait
really
to discuss
cool
that
stuff
with her.
And with that in mind, like we also have to then, aside from the projects that she's working on, we obviously want to ask her Rebels related things and get people in the chat to ask the questions that you guys care about. So when we're going to put up a graphic in a couple days with like, next Monday, the 15th, Vanessa Marshall joining Star Wars Rebels Revisited. Drop your questions below. That'll be the place, or you can message me or Ashley or Jeff directly and let us know if there's anything you'd like us to ask her on air. It'll actually be me, Ashley, and Jamie interviewing her. So it'll be a lot of fun. And Vanessa's got stories, man.
Yeah,
she's been around forever.
Taylor had some amazing ones, and I think Vanessa's gonna, from her experience, it's gonna be huge.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. And I promise I will try not to cry like I did in Chicago.
I told everyone, I was like, everyone better hold it together. No one embarrass me on screen. But also, I think she would love it if people cried, like truly. She knows how much this show means to people, how much Star Wars means to people in general, and how much the character of Hera has really meant. And now with the character of Hera coming into another form of content on Disney Plus, like the character's getting a lot of attention, which means she should also be getting a lot of attention because she deserves her roses for bringing that character to life.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk a lot about that. Yeah. We're so excited. So Mike, Jamie, Sherry, Catherine, Sarah, who else? Everyone seems very excited. Yay. I know I am. I haven't seen Vanessa in real life since 2019. It's been a minute.
Same. So I hate that we're missing ICCC because it would be so cool to just hang out with them and give them hugs.
Believe me, I'm in the back of my mind. I was like, I'm gonna fly down there, like have lunch and fly back same day. Like I'm like that kind of crazy at the moment.
I wish I could. I really do.
Yeah. No crying, Jamie. There's no crying in baseball or Rebels Revisited. No, there will be crying, I'm sure. Because here's the thing, like Vanessa knows. And as actually the whole cast, Vanessa, Freddie, if you ever had a conversation with Freddie or Sam, they'll tell you that, like, especially you wouldn't expect it, but like guys get really emotional over Star Wars,
Oh
right?
yeah, like
I mean,
especially
Dennis
Sam.
Lawson was saying that like grown ass men were coming up to his table and like crying. Dennis Lawson, right, who plays
He's
Wedge.
Wedge.
So yeah, I mean, he's Wedge. It's amazing. So Vanessa knows, and I think that they understand the weight of the franchise in which they're participating, right, and bring these characters to life. So bring the tears, bring the questions, bring your happy memories. Yeah.
Yeah. Bring your cool cosplay photos if you have them, because I'll be excited to see and you know, you can kind of like get psyched for Vanessa and celebrate that. I think the fact that we're almost a year into the show and we still have tons of content to talk about is an indication of how much not only we love the show and you love the show, everybody in the chats, but that it means to Star Wars fans as a whole
Yeah.
group. And I am so honored that we have her on the show, and I'm so excited. So thank you for getting her.
Yeah.
Working in
A lot of
magic.
it, a lot of it comes down to the fact that I've worked with some of the cast prior, and she's just good people. Like Vanessa's
Like,
just awesome. I remember the first time I met her, I was like, I know you from Young Justice. Like, I want to talk to you all DC. I want to hear all about Black Canary and everything else because I love that show. Young Justice, by
yeah,
the way.
huge.
That show is, and it got canceled and brought back, and like I think there's now 5 seasons or whatever it is. Season 2 of Young Justice is some of the best animation you'll ever watch. So just straight
So
up,
true.
like Young Justice is a great show. Everyone go watch it. I also think that Vanessa
It's on
does a good
HBO
job with her
Max.
role. Yes, it is like all things DC that's still up there. It's on HBO Max. We'll see for how long.
And she's also
Yeah.
Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy, the animated series. So
Oh,
make
that's
sure you
right.
check
I
it
forgot
out.
she did that.
Yes.
She's also actually in
And
the
she's
Harley
badass.
Quinn show too, playing Wonder Woman, I think.
Oh, no way. That's
Yeah,
huge.
but
I have to finish that show.
it's a small role. Even Black Canary sort of pops in a little bit. It's not one of the like. There's like 7 leads on Young Justice, right? And it's the young kids. The adult heroes are more guest stars.
Yeah.
But her
Which
voice
is
is very
smart.
distinctive. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they focus around the kids. Obviously, she's like one of the leads of Rebels, and in fact, other than Taylor Gray, she's and technically Dave Filoni, who plays Chopper and whatever else, like she's in the most episodes along with Taylor, because then obviously Freddie leaves a little bit earlier. Tia's not quite in every episode. Steve's not quite in every episode, but like Vanessa is like the heart of the Ghost,
Absolutely.
the heart of the Ghost crew. She's Space Mom, and so much more. Space Mom and like the ace pilot and the glue. Like she really is the glue of the Ghost.
And I'm excited about seeing and kind of hearing from her what she thought about Dave asking her to come back and voice Hera in the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
To me, like I was in Indianapolis for a convention and I had people like texting me all day, Hera's mom. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What? And I'm like,
Yeah.
stop texting me. I hadn't watched it. And I shut my phone off for the day because I was just getting way too many texts. And I'm like, no spoilers. I'm busy.
That happens to me too. Like anything Star Wars, big news, especially Rebels ish. Like I'll just get texted and it's like, I didn't watch it yet. I was like, I'm at work. Like block, blocked and reported.
That's why I will always text you at 3 a.m. and tell you.
Yes, be like stay off the internet, which is good advice in general, as we say all the time.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that's what's going on here on Rebels Revisited. We're getting it done. By the way, I feel really lucky to have made these relationships with people over the course of my time working in the fandom. We've already had Taylor Gray on the show, who obviously plays Ezra. Go back and watch that episode. We had our first interview guest, Philip Anthony Rodriguez, the fifth brother himself. He was our first about a month ago. And now we have Vanessa coming up, and we're going to continue to bring people on the show. I want to say sporadically. And even as we're into the countdown to Ahsoka, if we need to like double episode one week to create room for an interview, we're going to slot it in as people are available for interviews. So it really comes down to scheduling a lot of the times.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if there's anyone you want us to reach out to, let us know. Yeah.
Yes. The Rolodex.
Or if you have a connection with someone.
Oh yeah. That's the other thing too. If you have a connection to anyone working on Rebels or a voice actor or anyone like that, yeah, reach out on our behalf. We're my thing is like I like talking to everyone who's worked on the show, like regardless of whether in one episode or 75, right? Because everyone's got a really interesting story and path of how they got there. Like Philip Anthony Rodriguez was in like 6 or 7 episodes, right? And he actually said he recorded fully on his own. Taylor, on the other hand, talked about like the big group together of like recording. So everyone has their own sort of experience of how the show goes for them. And that's what I love hearing about, like the making of and everything.
Oh yeah, it's a different experience for everyone, but man, the stories they can tell and the ones that they're available for, it's so much fun. I love learning about the process and behind the scenes and just what it takes to be a voice actor and you know, if you can have like Ezra said, Ezra, oh my God, Taylor said,
Yeah.
they're just as much of a family off screen as they are on screen, and that is really important to the
Yeah.
recording process. So I can't wait to hear what Vanessa has to say and if she might have any insights to Ahsoka.
Yeah. Or what else she's working on. Like I said, she's got projects. Taylor has some stuff brewing too that I'm hearing about. So once we're able to announce anything related to that, I'm sure
Yeah,
they'll,
we won't be mean and ruin it and
well,
put them
yeah,
out of jobs. But
yeah, I was like, I know nothing other than that announcements are potentially pending for projects, right? Which is true
yeah,
for everyone, right? People are always
absolutely.
gigging. Like who knew? I mean, who knew about the Steve Bloom thing, right? Like no one knew. He kept
No.
that secret. So good job. Because we always have ears to the ground. Every now and then I'll hear something, I'm like, well, that sounds too crazy to be true. And then it'll happen. And I'd be like, oh, I got a piece of information. But usually of the 100 data points that I hear, like 99 of them are not true. So I just discard all of it. And I actually think there's an intentional plan to like leak air quotes, leak things that aren't
Yeah.
true to like mess up. Like they do with Scream all the time. They release multiple scripts. They let those hit the internet. They tell you who the killers are and it's the wrong killers. Like I was
Right.
only right with one of the killers for Scream 6. And I thought it was really
Oh.
obvious, but I was wrong about the others. So I'm like, okay. But I was right on with one of them. But there were multiple leaks of the killers, and they were like, they had 9 of them listed out. I was like, that's the whole cast. Like, so yeah, that's not a leak. It's just
Are we
theory.
playing Clue instead of
Yeah.
Scream? Like
Pretty much.
Guess who?
So yeah, we will have no leaks on this channel, but we do have lots of announcements to make very quickly. So we don't want to forget that the baseball jerseys are on sale now, and they'll be on sale for a few more weeks. There's a light side version, a dark side version. You can find those up on the Facebook group. Last time we put the link in the chat, it shut down the Facebook feed for some reason. So we will do that after the chat is over. You can find the link. It's easily accessible on the Facebook page for the baseball jerseys. They look really cool. And then Thursday, tune in for A New Hope, which will be a fun watch along with the boys. And of course, Sunday is Unifying Force with Kat and Dave and Gio. And then Monday, our interview with Vanessa Marshall. So me and Ashley and Jamie will be interviewing Spectre 2, Harrison Dula, Space Mom herself, Vanessa Marshall, voice legend extraordinaire.
So excited.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So excited.
So yeah, that's everything happening here. I think that's it for this week.
Yeah, I think we covered everything. And again, if you guys have any ideas about our show titles for my show with Jamie, if you guys have any questions for Vanessa, please feel free to reach out. We are always available. And to hear, you can contact us. And we look forward to hearing from you. And we cannot wait to see you guys next week to talk with Vanessa Marshall. All right, guys, for Mark and I, have a fantastic week and may the force be with you.
Night, guys.
Night.